The Maryland Transportation Authority and the Baltimore City Department of Transportation, in coordination with the Federal Highway Administration, are studying improvements to Interstate 95 ramps and other nearby transportation facilities. The study will support the ongoing and planned redevelopment of the Port Covington Peninsula in South Baltimore. These improvements are known collectively as the I-95 access improvements from Caton Avenue to the Fort McHenry Tunnel. The Baltimore City Planning Commission approved the Port Covington Master Plan in June of 2016. This peninsula is now largely disconnected from other parts of Baltimore by the elevated portion of I-95 to the north leading to the Fort McHenry Tunnel and the middle branch of the Patapsco River to the west and south. The study area generally follows I-95 along the northern boundary of the Port Covington Peninsula between Exit 50, also known as Caton Avenue, and Exit 56, also known as Keith Avenue, and includes sections of Hanover Street, McComas Street, and Key Highway. The study area is approximately 7 miles long. The purpose of the project is to accommodate the anticipated increase in transportation demand on I-95 and the surrounding network as a result of the Port Covington redevelopment. These proposed improvements also support the economic development and land use changes at Port Covington and provide new connections to the peninsula from surrounding neighborhoods. To simplify a complex project, the improvements under consideration were broken down into 7 elements, A through G, with several options developed for each. These were combined into 4 distinct alternatives for comparison. These were Alternative 1, the no-build alternative, and 3 build alternatives. Each alternative was analyzed to determine how well it meets the project's stated purpose and need, and the effects each has on the future traffic operations both on I-95 and on surface streets. In the end, the highest performing options from each alternative were combined to create a 4th build alternative, Alternative 5, which is the recommended preferred alternative identified by MDTA and BCDOT, and shown here. In the next few slides, we'll talk about the elements of the recommended preferred alternative in more detail. At Exit 52, Russell Street North, the existing auxiliary lane between the Caton Avenue on-ramp and the Russell Street off-ramp would be widened to 2 lanes, with one continuing to northbound Russell Street and the second continuing east over the middle branch, merging with the new spur ramp from southbound I-395 to connect with McComas Street. At Exit 53, a new ramp spur, splitting off from the existing southbound I-395 ramp to northbound I-95, will merge with the new Russell Street spur ramp, connecting to McComas Street at an at-grade intersection on the western side of Port Covington. The existing ramp at Exit 54, southbound Maryland Highway 2, also known as Hanover Street, will be removed. Vehicles traveling from southbound I-395 to southbound Maryland Highway 2 will be accommodated by the new ramp spur from southbound I-395. The ramp at Exit 55, Key Highway, will be realigned to accommodate the new northbound I-95 on-ramp, modifications to McComas Street, and the removal of the existing Hanover Street ramp from northbound I-95. A new ramp from McComas Street to northbound I-95 is proposed just east of its intersection with Hanover Street. A new ramp just west of the Key Highway overpass is proposed. It will provide access to the one-way section of westbound McComas Street, located directly beneath southbound I-95. The existing ramp will continue to provide access from the one-way section of westbound McComas Street to the southbound I-95, but will be realigned to minimize construction cost and duration. Hanover Street, north of McComas Street, will be reconstructed to meet the new elevation of the street grid in the Port Covington Master Plan. McComas Street will be converted to a 2-way boulevard from the western side of the Port Covington Peninsula to Key Highway. The boulevard will accommodate vehicular and multimodal connections between South Baltimore, I-95, and the Port Covington development. The median will be designed to accommodate future mass transit from Westport, ending prior to the existing intersection of McComas and Cromwell Streets. The existing one-way section of westbound McComas Street beneath southbound I-95 will remain in its current location. The existing Key Highway roadway will be widened from a 4-lane section to a 5-lane section, 3 northbound and 2 southbound, between the McHenry Row and McComas Street intersections. The CSX Bridge over Key Highway, north of the McComas Street intersection, will be reconstructed to accommodate the new width of Key Highway. A new sidewalk is proposed along the west side of Hanover Street, south of the bridge over the CSX tracks, running south to the Macomb Street intersection. An 11-foot wide shared-use path will be provided on the east side of Key Highway, between the intersections of McHenry Row and Macomb Street. Sidewalks will be installed along both sides of the new Macomb Street Boulevard. Likewise, a shared-use path will be installed along the north side of Macomb Street, between the Cromwell Street and Key Highway intersections. A new shared-use path linking South Baltimore to Port Covington will be constructed. The path will run parallel to the south side of Winder Street, rising from the Light Street intersection. A pedestrian staircase will connect to the path from Charles Street. At the Charles Street intersection, the ramp will turn south, cross over the CSX tracks, then turn east to connect to the shared-use path proposed along the north side of Macomb Street. At this planning stage, the total cost for the roadway improvements is expected to be between $450 and $495 million. As final designs for each element are developed, the costs will be refined. The National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, requires federal agencies to assess the environmental effects of their proposed actions before making a final decision. NEPA also requires that the public be given opportunities to review and comment on projects. For the I-95 Access Improvements Project, MDTA and BCDOT prepared a draft environmental assessment and hope to receive a finding of no significant impact from FHWA later this summer. An environmental review considers a project's potential benefits and impacts to the human, built, and natural environments for a wide range of categories. The results of all the analyses indicate that no significant adverse impacts are anticipated in any category. The minor impacts identified are generally able to be mitigated. More important efforts will be made during final design to minimize impacts. Preserving parks and open spaces to the extent possible is a key component of the NEPA process. A portion of the Gwynns Falls Trail is located within the I-95 Access Improvement Study area. No permanent impacts will occur to the trail. However, the construction of one of the new northbound I-95 off-ramps will take place over it. It is possible that temporary closures of this section of the trail may occur during construction. If so, temporary detours will be provided for trail users. Once construction is complete, the Gwynns Falls Trail will be reopened to the public. MDTA and Baltimore City DOT are seeking a de minimis determination from FHWA for Gwynns Falls Trail. Baltimore City's Swan Park is an 11-acre parcel located on the northwest side of the Port Covington Peninsula, just south of I-95. The park contains baseball and softball diamonds, a football field, and a pedestrian trail. The city's approved Port Covington master plan includes the relocation of the existing park to the south. The future park will be more than double the size, approximately 26 acres, extending along the majority of the peninsula's western waterfront, and will contain similar features to the existing park. The proposed new exit ramp from northbound I-95 would require piers in the northern end of existing Swan Park, potentially prior to the completion of future Swan Park. If that's the case, every effort will be made to provide a temporary park at another location. MDTA and Baltimore City DOT are seeking a net benefit determination from FHWA for Swan Park. Any potential effects resulting from construction of the recommended preferred alternative were considered, along with measures to avoid or minimize them. The MDTA and Baltimore City will also develop and implement an environmental compliance plan prior to initiating construction activities. The plan will identify and describe the management of any mitigation measures as the project design advances. Effects on traffic, neighborhoods, and public safety will be avoided or minimized as much as possible.